Consumers are producing a lot of data, and the COVID-19 pandemic is seeing behaviour changing at a breakneck speed. Consumer insight company Kantar has been interviewing more than 25,000 people every 2 weeks, monitoring consumer sentiment.
As restrictions are imposed, you see a spike in anxiety, concern for the general situation.
The dynamic in our household, it caused a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety and frustration.
As people sort of start to adjust to the restrictions, I wouldn't say that the concern drops away completely, but it does settle back a little bit. And people do then start thinking a little bit more about the future.
A similar pattern was spotted by analytics company Bliss. They process 7 terabytes of location data from over 250 million mobile devices worldwide every day. Stage 1, panic, with big falls in store footfall.
In some markets like Sweden, where there hasn't been a lockdown, they've seen grocery shopping down 20 points versus what it would have been normally. In parts of the US where lockdowns have eased, that's still down about 50%. And in the UK, we're still down about 70% in terms of grocery footfall for what we would have been experiencing in February and early March.
A survival instinct kicked in with panic buying of toilet paper and long-life food like pasta. Then came stage 2, stability, as the consumer adapts to the so-called new normal. Cue nesting behaviour and a return to nostalgic purchases and comfort products. Lockdown saw a quirk in consumer behaviour, the illusion of loyalty. Fewer people making fewer visits to fewer stores. The challenge for some will be keeping the customers as we move from a health crisis to an economic one. You could advertise, with more than 90% of consumers saying it was OK for brands to do so.
There are some very pragmatic reasons. People still need brands, the economy still needs to continue, and people see that as part of business as usual. There is also a sense, though, that advertising can provide a little bit of escape from some fairly bleak news around at the moment.
Before the pandemic, there was a slew of purpose-led advertising. Now consumers are forcing brands to seek one. Research suggests that it's not just about what you do as a business, but how you do it.
If you look at a lot of fashion and luxury brands, LVMH or Sandro or Burberry, they've been able to pivot what they are offering from clothing or cosmetics into things that right now are arguably more useful, like protective clothing or hand sanitizers. Whereas, maybe some of the airline brands who are currently grounded are finding it much more difficult to find a way of being useful at the moment.
The primary thing that people are looking for brands to do and for companies to do is actually staff welfare. It's to look after your people. Beyond that, people want brands to offer just practical help. So if you think about the BT advertising helping people to use technology, if you think about financial companies and services offering mortgage holidays or rebates on insurance, anything that will just help people get through their everyday.
But a reminder, different groups of consumers are demanding different things.
For Gen Z, the priority really is for brands to be part of the effort to deal with the coronavirus situation on a more macro level. I think for the millennials, the 25 to 34s, they're the ones that have felt the impact on their household finances the fastest. So they are really looking for much more practical help.
Just as brands have pivoted to help people through some of the immediate situations that we found ourselves in the pandemic, that the next pivot that brands need to make is to say, as we start to move through this and to look to the future, what can we do that still aligns with what we believe in as a brand, but will help into the next phase? What we're going to need to be able to do collectively over the next few months is to rebuild confidence in going out, confidence in interacting, confidence in our economy, most fundamentally.
So what do our experts recommend?
I would say keep advertising or keep a presence if you can. Consider your media choices. Media consumption is changing at the moment, so there are opportunities to maximise your ROI. And the third would be to start planning for recovery now.
Firstly, to drive simplicity through what they do as much as possible. Secondly, to make decisions that are led by their purpose, so not to go off track in terms of being distracted from delivering on their core purpose. And thirdly, make sure that they're as useful as possible.
The government may be the ones to relax restrictions. It will be the public who decide how quickly they use that freedom again.